Hi, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine. This is Tower of London tea, one of my favorites from Harney and Sons, which if I'm going to have a flavored black tea, this is one of the best ones, honestly. And I'm using this mug because I rescued it from my office. And yeah, because I'm not there often enough, it's not really getting any use, so I thought, let's bring it home. And I really like this one. It's kind of soothing. And it really goes well with Tower of London tea. I can't explain it. So today I decided to do the first of possibly many tea and ramblings. So I had come up with an idea to do one of these catch-all type of videos because I ramble a lot. So I asked for suggestions of names for this segment, and I had some really good ones, but I was aiming more towards something that would be tea and blank. And one of the suggestions was one that I would have used, and it was very apropos. I can never say that word. It was very good. But I noticed it had been in very big use among some kind of reality show or something on YouTube. So I said, nah. And, so yeah, I did some more thinking, and I said, I want something that isn't in very common use. The word ramblings is very commonly used in all videos, particularly on BookTube, because people love to talk and they love to ramble, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, but however, tea and ramblings, or tea and rambling, or any sort of thing has been used on blogs, on vlogs, on BookTube, etc., but not too often, so I didn't feel like I was ripping anyone off, and it's just not being used that much right now. So that is the story of tea and ramblings, and that's exactly what I mean. I'm going to go off and talk about things, and I'm going to ramble. One of the reasons I picked that word more than anything is because I know that when I talk about things, I can't stay just on a subject. I just keep going off and into tangents, but I want to use that word, and that's the word that was used by another channel. But anyway, so I thought, I do things like Friday reads sometimes when I can, or any other day reads, or wrap-ups, and all these kind of things. And in those videos, I kind of want to focus just on books. Tea and ramblings, I can talk about books. I will talk about books often, but I can talk about other things too. So all the things that I would normally just talk about on a BookTube video that had nothing to do with books, or had a little bit to do with books, is going to come here. I don't know how often I'm going to do this. I might do it once a week. I might do it once a month. Maybe it'll just when it comes. That's it. So, all right. So the other thing that I was thinking also is because it reminds me of the Ramble in Central Park, which is one of my favorite spots in Central Park. I have been back to Central Park since, since everything shut down, but I haven't been back that much because just not enough time. And when I do, I don't often go into the Ramble, which is a section kind of in the middle of the park. That I know everything is designed, even the wilder parts of it, but still, it is made to look like a little less structured, a place where you can get a little bit lost. And I find the Central Park is always like this a little bit, but especially in the Ramble. You think, I'm just going to go in this one straight line, and you can't. You find yourself going, and that's exactly how I converse often. So I thought, yeah, I miss going there just because I feel Central Park is pretty busy still now, but I feel it's just a little bit isolated, and right now I don't want to take chances on isolated areas. So that's the story of Tea and Ramblings. One of the things I'm going to talk about, actually one of the main things I'm going to talk about today, is book journaling. And there's a lot of thought that went into this because I have done some form of recording what I read for years. I still record things on the internet, on websites. I don't write as many reviews as I used to, but I want to get back to that. But and I've had blogs I have a blog still. I consider it still alive, even though I haven't updated it since over a year ago. My goodness. But and I've kept written book journals at home, whether it was just writing down what I read, which is not that much, but it's still good. The fact that I can go back 20 years and see what I read, which I may have forgotten if I hadn't done so, is a great thing to me, to be honest. But but I really want to do more along the lines of, not just because I have a booktube video now and want to be able to have stuff to say that makes some kind of sense, but also just for myself, just be able to write about what I read. And sometimes it's just there's something in a book that I want to remember. And some books, if they're made a certain way, I'll just use a pencil to write my notes in there, and I'll put a tab in there. I'm not big on marking up my books, but pencil I'm usually okay with. But there are some books that I own that are kind of, I don't want to say flimsy, but they're kind of pretty more than anything, and they're a good book. Like if you, okay, I don't know if I could point in back of me, you can see those collector's library books, which I, collected over the years, and they're great. But the pages are thin, and I don't want to mess them up, so I can't really put even the post-it tabs without feeling like I might end up ripping it when I'm taking them out. So, and I don't want to write in them because I feel like if I'm going to erase something, I might tear. So yes, I know, it's not the biggest problem. Some may say, well, why don't you just get a different book, a different version of that book, and write in there? But I'm like, I don't want to have so many different versions of every book that I own. It's okay, there's like a handful like Sherlock Holmes and one or two Jane Austens that I will have duplicates of, but I'm not going to collect just a million versions of of a book that I love just because, So I would really just want to use that book, read from that book. So I thought, okay, that's fine. You can keep notes in a journal. So that's what I've been doing, and it's mostly successful. This is the journal I use. I showed it to you guys a couple of times in the past year. It's a pretty, it's got leaves, which I thought made sense for a book journal, and it's just a pretty color. I like the color green. And it has, I'll show you a blank page. You probably won't be able to see it, but it has like those dots that people like to use for like bullet journals, stuff like that. Grid, but they're so light, which I like. I prefer books that don't have lines in them. I will use books with lines in them, but I prefer them not to have them. So it's been good. But my issue is that I read more than one book at a time, and I read more than 3 books at a time. So when I've decided to take notes on a book, I may go for like, write my notes on the book, and then read that book a little more, and then I pick up another book, and then the next pages will have notes from that one, and then I'll go back to the other book, and I can't keep it all together. Again, not the worst problem in the world, but it's still a problem because then I have to like assemble my thoughts together using all kinds of pages. Now, I have so many blank books that I still can use for book journals in the future. Who knows? I might use them for commonplace books or just random journaling. I'm not saying I'm going to retire this format whatsoever, but I thought for 2021 I'm going to try another thing. It's not original. People have done this many years, but that is using like a binder, like a loose leaf binder. This is one that I have that I've not used yet, and it's a little big, so between now and January I may decide instead to use a smaller, the miniature version of a binder, but I have had no use for this so far. And not going back to school anytime soon. And it has yellow flowers, which I like. I'm not crazy about the design otherwise, but it has yellow flowers. So I thought that could be good, or at least for an experiment. I can write notes from reading, or I could transfer notes that I took when I was outside somewhere, and I can keep everything together. I can use dividers if I want. I can put folders in here. There's already a couple of pockets in this book. And this tea is wonderful. So I think that this could be a better idea for me personally. Everybody's got their own things. But I will try to keep you updated on this thought next year. And if it turns out to be successful, then I will recommend it. And if not, I will go back to book journaling and writing things online. We'll see. I mean, it's still book journaling. It's just a different kind. I've made pretty good progress in this one. I still have some left, but it is, still early December, and that's good. So I'm pretty happy about that. Another thing I would usually talk about when I'm off into a ramble is my cats. They're doing okay, just in case you're wondering. Freddie, this is a bit TMI, but Freddie has been very active in the litter box, which is important because if you didn't watch my videos in early November, you would just to let you know, I have 3 cats, and Freddie's my middle cat right now. He's 9 years old, which I adopted him when he was 7, so, haven't had an extremely long time, but, and he, he's a big boy, and he's got a great appetite, too good of an appetite, and he's been fine for years. The occasional thing that I'm not crazy about, like throwing up. Sorry, I hate talking about that on videos, but then he had an issue, and I had to take him to the vet, and had to pay a bit of money, which I was not happy about, to use, to make sure that he was okay. He had some blockages, urinary tract, etc., etc., and I was really freaked out. So now he's on a special diet, no more dry food. Only, I mean, I can use any random wet food, but I have to keep also giving him this prescription type and all the specialized ones. And he's been doing well. He's been eating well, and the other cats have been eating well as well. I have to give him the same food because he will just stop what he's eating and go to eat one of the other cat's foods, or my younger cat Janie will sometimes stop what she's eating and go to eat his food. So then he'll leave and go to eat my oldest cat, who's an older, almost 16, Zenobia's food. And so if I had only given him the prescription food, then he may not eat all of it. So this was my way of doing it. I mix the prescription food in with, your run-of-the-mill cat food, and it seems to be going well. So just in case anyone was thinking about my cats, that's how they're doing. Otherwise, they're the same rambunctious kitty cats. Let's see. What else do I have to talk about? Not much else. It's been raining a lot lately. It's been getting colder. I have no problem with that. I'm spending most of my time indoors anyway. I had my sister is offering to bring over pupusas soon. Probably not today because of the weather. Speaking of which, the weather's been pretty bad today, but maybe tomorrow. Even if she didn't get a chance to, that's okay, because you can't always do that. But I just thought I'd take a moment to talk about pupusas, which is a little off subject, but and it doesn't really go with tea, but it's just a thing that I don't talk about too much, which is comfort food. And I don't know if you guys have had pupusas before. They are primarily a Salvadorian food from El Salvador, and I think there are a few other countries that may claim them as well, but I think they're kind of the national dish for El Salvador. So, and kind of a flatbreadish, kind of almost like an arepa, if you've had one of those. Often made of corn, sometimes other things like rice, whatever. But I mean, if you use corn or rice, it's good because it's gluten-free, and that helps for a lot of people's diets. And stuffed with things. Sometimes it's certain meats or whatever. Primarily the one I've had is often the bean and cheese, I think, one, and that's really good. Oh my goodness, it's really good. But there may be ways to make vegan ones as well. I can't remember how, but I'm sure there's a way. But yeah, so it's stuffed with this. It's still kind of flat, like maybe not too wide, but usually it's topped with some kind of tomato sauce, and also like a pickled cabbage situation that you kind of sprinkle on top or whatever. And I've had it from my brother-in-law, Salvadorian. His mother made them for years, like from scratch, and they are so good. And I mean, they're just amazing, and they're just wonderful. And now my sister has learned how to make them, so she'll make them pretty often. So I love when I get the opportunity to have them. So if you are in an area that has pupusas, even from restaurants, there are certain areas that are in the United States, I'm talking about, that have a big Salvadorian population. I'm in New York, so we have, pretty good Queens, New York. I think Long Island, New York has quite a lot. I think I read somewhere that Washington, D.C. has a pretty big Salvadorian population. So, hey, if you're in the area, if you haven't tried pupusas, try them. They're so good. So yes, that's what's on my mind right now. I know that was kind of random, but I'm thinking about them a lot, and I hope I can get some tomorrow, but if not, I will dream about them, and maybe I'll learn how to make them myself, but it's not the same. I don't cook very much. I make a few things that I like, and otherwise I'm not very experimental, but if needs must, because there's only one place near me that I can get them to go, without having to take a subway or take a really long walk, and they're not the best ones. better than nothing, but they're inferior pupusas, in my opinion. So let's hope I can get the real thing. Let me know you guys, comma, whatever, if you've ever had pupusas and what you think, and or any kind of national dish or regional thing that you've had that you can suggest that is similar, because I love learning about that sort of thing. I live in an area, Queens, New York, that is quite diverse. So I have thankfully had a lot of exposure to foods from many different lands, but there may be something I've missed. I don't like raw tomatoes, by the way, so anything with that, or peppers, or onions, yeah, no. But anyway, I'm so picky. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know how you keep track of your books. Do you keep a journal? Do you keep a binder? Do you keep just online? Do you just have e-readers and do that? Either way. And let me know if you have a catch-all video of your own. And for now, this is Catherine at Taking Tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea-filled and rambly day.